Hello there, welcome to The Real You. This is Susanna. Thank you so much for choosing to watch my videos and for subscribing to my channel. Thanks as well for all your comments and suggestions. And actually in this video I'm going to answer some of the questions that I have received lately. It is a major subject to discuss and a question that many people on what we call a spiritual path are asking quite often, which is the following. How much should we attempt to change something and how much should we try to let go? We hear that often, isn't it? You have to let go. And this is a very paradoxical affirmation, as it is practically impossible to let go by trying hard to let go, isn't it? Making efforts to let go is not letting go. Of course, until you're able to let go and go with the flow, you're going to work hard on fixing yourself and that particular problem. And the answer to this question comes with the wisdom that your own experience brought you so far. Because the more you're trying to fix yourself, the more you start to see what changes and what doesn't. And eventually reach an aspect of yourself that doesn't change no matter what you do. You know this repetitive situation that we want so hard to change and we're so scared of. Now, of course, working hard at changing yourself makes you learn a lot because you read, you study, you learn new ways, you are expanding your horizon, but still, that particular aspect is not changing. It is there, and each time it happens, it gets you by surprise and it knocks you off, and you feel like you're a failure. You feel like you're powerless, that you're a loser, that you're nothing, etc. When that happens, when you get this profound realization that you cannot change or fix that, you kind of spontaneously let go. It is a spontaneous process through which you are letting it go. There is a moment, a sort of a process of ripening when your mind simply gives up. Now, many disciplines are aiming to correct you, to fix you, to eliminate your desires, your attachments, your ego. However, the more you try to fix the ego, the stronger it gets. And so, you go on and on working hard at fixing that, only to realize that you can't. And when you do, you spontaneously let go. Now, we all agree that this struggle happens mainly at a mind level. And so then we can realize that the only thing that fundamentally creates all of these problems, the attachment, the ego, the desires, etc., is the stickiness of the mind. And when you attempt to free your sticky mind by trying to fix it, the mind will glue itself to the idea of fixing yourself. Because a sticky mind will attach itself to anything that becomes the focus of its attention. It's not the object that we place in front of it that matters, but simply the way the mind functions. So then, in this context, at a certain point, you can spontaneously realize that you are not that mind. In Taoism, it is described like this. The perfect man employs his mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing, it refuses nothing, it receives everything, but it does not keep. Now, this process of awakening of the mind may or may not bring forth the change that you're looking for. This process of letting go may or may not bring forth the change that you wanted so badly at the first place. But it will definitely change the way you perceive it and the way you feel. When he was asked what does it feel like Satori, or the experience of enlightenment in Zen, the Master Suzuki answered like this: it feels just like ordinary everyday experience, only 2 inches above the ground. So coming back to our daily life struggles, when we experience a difficult situation, when we are going through pain, should we try to fix it? Or should we let go? What to do when we feel pain? deep, profound pain, when we feel trapped, what to do when we are, for instance, in a depressive state or in a state of anxiety. Well, it all depends on where you are now and on the stickiness, the level of stickiness of your own mind. Going with it, allowing yourself to experience fully that particular state could bring you to a spontaneous relief. But most of us are scared of these intense negative emotions and are afraid to go through this experience or simply are not ready. So when letting go is not possible, we do what we can in the kindest way possible. And from my experience, if there is something to be done there, right there on the spot, if the need to do something about it is still there, we should start with remembering playfulness. If there is one thing that you want to improve your playfulness and your curiosity. Whatever you do, either way, you will eventually get to a breakthrough. Especially if you're listening to this video and you're looking for this answer, asking this particular question, you might be closer to it than you think. Now, you have to remember that your emotional mind is functioning within the duality, always thinking in terms of good and bad, right and wrong, beautiful and wonderful and terrible. Your mind, the dualistic mind, has its limitations and it cannot accept the idea of your immortality. It has a hard time accepting the idea that you are the governing force of this universe, as you have been doing all this bad stuff. You are angry, you said all these bad things. You are not that sweet, kind person that you thought you should have been. You didn't succeed in life. You are not the perfect parent. You are not the perfect husband or wife. And when you look at your little insignificant life, having the impression that you have failed, how can you aspire or dream of being illuminated when you're such a loser? But it is precisely there, right there, and now, and here, that you can have the most wonderful realization of who you are. Now, the advantage of having a limited mind is that eventually, the more you allow these opposites to coexist, the mind gives up and gives place to this enlightened mind of yours, which is not only capable, but is actually, it's in nature to reflect the reality of who you are and bring you to the realization of who and what you truly are. Now, I hope that this is helpful. If you want to work with me directly, don't hesitate to contact me for an appointment using the contact below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.